Hi, Rhonda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm so happy to have you in the interview here for supercalorias.com. We have Rhonda here. Rhonda is a 21-year Reiki Master, and will talk to us about Reiki. So I'm really excited to have you here and to talk about Reiki. Very interesting. So tell us a bit about Reiki, how you got in touch with Reiki, and what it is for the audience to understand.
Okay, well, I'm excited to share that. I have been doing Reiki for a very long time, over 2 decades. It's for those that are not familiar, Reiki is an energy system. It's a Japanese energy system that the premises behind it is that in a relaxed state, the body can heal itself. So I see a lot of, I work with a lot of people that are going through anxiety. Seems to be a big one. Stress and anxiety seems to be huge. Probably the number one thing that I help people with as far as Reiki. And then we seem to cover that more than we do physical issues within the body, because stress is huge. It's just a huge impact on people's life. And so this is a way of stress relief, actually. But how I got involved in it is I feel like literally it found me. I've been familiar with energy work just based on my my growing up life. You know, I had a very open family, but we didn't have a name for it or anything like that. I just was familiar with energies, and I was very sensitive to energies. But it was well over 2 decades ago, because I've been a Reiki master for like 21 or 22 years now. I lose count. And I was in a bookstore, and I was looking for something that I could use that would help me with my students. I was a teacher, and I taught special needs populations. In fact, the population that I taught, they had severe disabilities. So they were not verbal. They couldn't talk. Some of them were unable to walk. So they had, a lot of seizures and medical issues. And I was looking for something that I could use to help me with my students. Like I wouldn't be doing energy work on my students or anything like that. But I was just something that would help me be a better assistance for them.
How to relate better, how you take more benefit of your teachings. Sure.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be able to do my best for them. And I was like, outside of the classroom, or what, I love this population. What if there's something I could do outside the classroom? And so I was in a bookstore, and I was looking at things. It may have even been in like a nursing medical part of a bookstore. And it was like touch for health and things like that, where, where nurses, a lot of nurses are now trained in Reiki. But back then, not so much. But it was something along the lines of like touch for health, or something that was something that kept coming up in my head. Like that. And the way I was thinking about it is like, how that mother's loving touch, that hug or whatever, makes
like close to your babies, even when they're born, like you have the first instinct is like to get them closer to you, right? So
yeah, so I was thinking along the lines of like that, and literally I had walked away from the aisle of like the nursing type stuff like that, and I got to the end of the aisle, and books just fell off the bookshelf. I've never even heard of Reiki, and books are just like right at my feet. And so that posed this question. And then a few weeks later, I didn't even buy the book. It was a book on Reiki. And I was like, well, this is kind of like what I'm thinking, maybe, just my energy around taking care of my students, or, that would support me so that I would be better for them. And then one of my dearest friends said, hey, like a couple weeks later, she's like, hey, I'm going to go take this workshop, and I think you would be interested in it. It's called Reiki. And I was like, I just saw something like that. So I literally feel like Reiki found me. Yeah. And so I went to the first workshop.
Yeah, it was trying to get in. It was trying to get in, through the books, and then after the workshop that appeared. So tell me a little bit more about what are the benefits of Reiki? You mentioned, for example, anxiety and stress, and I feel like we are all stressed at some point. And so, how can Reiki help us be more healthy? You know, in an integrated way, right? Like not only what you eat, but also like you as a human being, how you connect with yourself.
Well, it's so. I mean, Reiki is an energy system, and I'm going to tell you, you don't even have to be trained in Reiki to at least utilize energy. There's a lot of different energy systems out there, and you know, because we're energetic beings. So I kind of want to take it to that approach in case people are not around someone that does Reiki like I do. If you don't have access to someone that is a Reiki practitioner, then you don't really get that opportunity to experience Reiki. However, there's other energy systems, being that we're energetic beings and we respond to that. But how does it work is energy knows no boundaries. Like it can go across time. I work with clients all over the world all the time. And they don't have to be here for me. I don't treat in person anymore because all of my clients are all over the world. So I treat remotely, and I get on to like a video like this with someone. We'll have a video meeting. So this is I think if I tell you how I do it, it might help people to understand how I treat. So we will get together and we'll be face to face on a video like this, and I'll just tell them, you know, this is their opportunity to relax and just appreciate the energy. And I am going to be basically an open vessel for this Reiki energy to flow through me to them. So I don't do any of it really. They do it. Like I don't heal people. People heal themselves. I am just here. Yeah. So I am just here for that. I like to make sure that everyone understands that it's not me. It's the Reiki energy that comes through. And so I meet with them and for a minute, and then I'll cut the video camera off and I play music, and they just get to lay there or sit or whatever and listen to the music while I am with them still in communication. And I you know, send Reiki to them. And then at the end, I pop the video back on and we can have a little bit of a recap. But you can utilize other energies if you just, you know, pull yourself out away from like a stressful situation or something. You can, you know, you can use your own body's energy too. You can take time to do breath work, listen to relaxing music, be still, you know, get in a comfortable pose. In your body as an energetic being will, you know, you use the energy system within your body if you don't have anybody that can help you with Reiki. So I like to kind of share everything so people don't feel like they can't get help. You can. Your body can do stuff for you anyway, whether or not you're getting a Reiki.
Clarify something. So you say we're energetic beings, and Reiki works with the energy, right? So what would be a practical example for someone who's thinking, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. I'm not exactly sure what this energy is. Like something that you can relate what that energy is in the day-to-day basis.
Okay, now say that one more time. It bleeped out. Something that you can what, tell?
How can you tell what this energy is? Like, is there any?
How can you tell?
Yeah,
I get all kinds of feedback. And it's funny to me that people are so much more receptive to energy than they think they are. So I will have people, like I'm talking people on camera, just like this, the way we are, you know, we'll talk and then I'll cut the camera, they listen to music. Once people have to be still, they start to notice things, which is why I make my clients take that time out and be still while I work with them. They notice so many things. So I will have people tell me they have tingles in their body in different places. I'll have people tell me that, you know, they feel like they can breathe. I've had people tell me that they can feel energy moving around in their body, like the unexplained, like people that have never had anything done before. This is the, you know, this is the reports. Of course, I have people do fall asleep on me, which is great. You know, they get relaxed enough, or that they feel like that. I will have sometimes people tell me that they see colors during our treatment. They're like, you know, this is the craziest thing. I saw the color green for some reason. that's fine. You know, so sometimes people will get like visual imagery whenever they're still, you know, they just got to be still so it can happen. So
it's almost like in a meditation state kind of thing, right? Like
it is.
your mind is quiet. Like it's not that you need to be, you know, super. I would say it's not like you need to fall asleep, but it's quiet your mind, right? Like your thoughts are not thinking over and driving the car, you know.
Yeah, so like I tell them, when, you know, like, hand the energy, hand all of your worries, everything that's mine right now. I'm going to hold that, so you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to think about anything. I just want you to just be still and just be in a receptive state. So I have gotten a lot of different comments. I've had people talk about they feel heat in their hands.
Yeah,
heat coming out the bottom of their feet. All kinds of responses. But I think when people know that they don't have to worry about whatever they're worried about, if it's an illness or if it's an emotional distress or whatever, that they can hand it to somebody else to carry for them for the next, you know, 30 minutes, next hour, and just be still. Once they give that away, I think they just feel things. I have had people tell me that they've heard, I've heard music, not from the music that I was playing, but like other music that they could pick up on, you know, it's like something that's in their brain. I've had people tell me they feel like somebody was hugging them. I've had people tell me that they felt like somebody was just like rubbing their arms.
So,
you know, I've had people, you know, like I said, fall asleep, just get so relaxed that they fall asleep and I have to wake them up.
We were talking about the you know, people with anxiety or stress, right? Or even when you are going through a change in your health lifestyle, and you know, everything's new for you, you're stressed out, you don't know exactly how it works, and so it creates emotional changes on you, right? So how can Reiki help these people that have anxiety, that have stress, or maybe they are going through different emotional situations that, you know, go up and down? So how can Reiki help them on that?
Oh, Reiki. Well, because I think Reiki is very centering to people. I like they just start to feel very centered and strong within themselves. And I personally feel like there's nothing Reiki can't help, because I've seen so many in over 2 decades. I have seen a lot of things. I had a lot of experience, but I think it's just, it pulls people's personal energy back to themselves.
Right. It's like your own personal power. I mean, it's nothing external. You're just finding, you know, how to increase that personal power that you already have. It's just that sometimes it's hidden somewhere and you can't find it.
Yes, that's you know, my take on it is that people have that opportunity to you know, because they have to be with me. They have to be still for our allotment of time, and that, you know, all the external stuff is gone for us during that time. It's just them, and the concentration is on them. And I do think that the Reiki does, like, because of the energy, it's a very intuitive is the word I want to use, and a very intuitive energy. It travels to wherever it needs to go for somebody. You know, I don't have to say, oh, I want to send Reiki only to your nose right now. Reiki, I could, you know, just have that energy and be in that space, and it goes to wherever. And it's your body, that the client's body, that is responding, the client's mind that's responding to that. Right. And so it's their personal power. It's them that's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you can also do Reiki to objects or spaces. So tell me a bit about that, because, you know, maybe in you know, doing Reiki to people, as you said, is like bring up your personal power, right? Like helping aligning something that it's out of whack, and just helping just put it together a little bit, right? Like spring cleaning your energy in a way. So how does this work with spaces or with objects?
Oh, so how would I work with spaces and objects? Well, actually, I have people any room that I'm in, if I'm going to be working and doing Reiki, before I work, I send Reiki to the whole room, to the whole space, so that when people walk into that space, It will feel inviting and open to them, and that it will feel like at an energetically higher vibration for them. So that's personally what I do. I use it, like I make a product, Spirit Mist Smokeless Smudge, that's over my shoulder, and that is I Reiki that product to make it of a higher vibrational frequency, so that whenever it's used, it uplifts the space that it's in. So I think of Reiki as almost like when it comes to physical objects, and then when it comes to spaces, I think of it as almost like a clearing type energy to allow that space to be a higher elevated space, and allow maybe chaotic energies to dissipate. You know, like when you walk into a room and someone's had an argument and you feel that.
Right.
You know, so if you, okay, so like Reiki to change the energy dynamics of it. I use it more for spaces than I do for like physical objects, but you can do it, you know, like I do have like special things that I, you know, that like my product, of course, that I do it, but then like, I have rose quartz hearts. I don't have one on me right now, but I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I use Reiki on them to clear the energy of them. And then that's a product that I happen to carry. But like if I have something like that, I will make sure, because crystals and stuff, they hold an energetic vibration. Everything really holds an energetic vibration. So Reiki I would use on physical objects to make them feel like a higher vibrational frequency, in case it's picked up something from somewhere else that it's been. Sometimes people have, I'll use like a photograph or like a painting. That's not too far-fetched that I have done Reiki on a painting for someone, because it came from maybe a place where it didn't pick up the best energies.
Right.
And they're like, it gives me the creeps, but I really want to keep it. It belonged to my grandmother and it's special to me, but it doesn't make me feel good. So I've used Reiki on things like that to encourage the old energy to allow the higher frequency energies.
So you mentioned, for example, that that spraying the product in a room would help change the energy. So what other things would help, for example, in spaces to change the energy? What other like, do candles change the energy, or incense, or like?
Like if you want to change the energy in your space, there are a lot of things that you can do. And I love to share this because people can do a lot of things like for literally free. Right. You know, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of products. If you have a space and you want to change the energy dynamics, my very first and foremost, most favorite thing to do is music, the frequency. I use uplifting music. Some people, you don't have to go buy crystal bowls or anything like that. You can play music. You can find that music, you know, online for free. You can play that from YouTube or whatever. So I like to use music with frequencies like that. Sometimes I like to use classical music for me, or uplifting songs, or, you know, like really sweeping melodies or vibrational tunes like that. Anybody can do that. Another thing that I like to do is sing. For me personally, I mean, you don't have to be a great singer, but that's a vibration.
Yeah, it comes from the inside, you know, like
so I sing
in the shower, and it changes your mood, you know, the moment that you're doing it.
Yes, that's a good frequency. Laughter is another one in a space, because that's a very high vibration frequency whenever you laugh. So that's what you know, anybody can do that, you know, do so. And if you're having a problem doing that, like watch a funny video and laugh in that space. Fresh flowers is really great. If you get, you know, and you don't even have to go buy flowers, just pick some, whatever, but you bring those into that space. Nature elements. Sometimes I do things seasonally, like whenever the leaves fall, I will pick some pretty turning leaves and some like bare branches or whatever, and bring some nature elements into a space that I want to kind of change the energy of that space.
So what about, for example, spaces that normally have very good energy? So let's say, I don't know, like nature, for example, like places that in its nature of the place, they already have this calming effect on you, or they help you, you know, release.
Yes, they do. Yeah, there's so much there, especially now, there's so much science and research. It's becoming more and more prevalent that you know, they really are putting the research into what they call, I think they call it blue spaces, whenever you're around water and that element, how that helps people mentally to shift and to relax, even though it doesn't even have to be blue water, but just water, that element. So a lot of nature elements can, you know, and that's free. You can bring that in and change the energy of a space. Now, another thing I really love, behind me, you see that great.
I love this.
This is a salt lamp.
A Himalayan salt?
The Himalayan salt lamp. I love these. It does, you can't see how big it is on camera. This thing is,
I can see that it's cute.
It is about 75 pounds because it's really deep too. Wow. So it's a very big one. And I like to keep it behind me because this is where I do my computer work. And there's a lot of energy going on here. And they have negative ions in them. Like when the ocean waves crash, that's negative ions, and that's what makes everybody feel good. And like waterfalls, when the waterfall
even
crashes,
when you
negative ions, it makes everybody feel good. Those do the same thing. And I really love those too. But that's an item you do have to buy. But you know, it's a great item, and you can have them and all the time. There's a lot of free things. You don't have to buy, you know, necessarily anything. You can use a lot of elements that most everybody has access to.
So let's go back to Reiki on people. So for example, I know that you mentioned that you do it online, right? So
yes.
What are the most common things that people come to you in regards of, I need some help with Reiki on that?
Okay, number one is stress management. Hands down, stress management. Very pervasive. So I get that a lot. And I'm going to throw anxiety along with it. So I'll say anxiety and stress are for this all number one. Then the next thing is I do get a lot of people that do come for physical ailments and things like that, or some physical issues with their body. That's probably the second most thing that I get for that.
So for these,
and to be quite honest, it goes back to stress anyway.
Yeah. So for these physical ailments that you are telling me, right? I guess that in nature is a bit different, the fact that you are stressed or not, or that you have a physical problem, right? So how is it different in how you treat them? Like how Reiki, I guess that you can help both, but is it different in any way in the kind of work that you do with them?
Well, like the Reiki energy, again, is very intuitive, and it goes to where it needs to go. So people don't even have to tell me what they need Reiki for, to be quite honest. They can sit down, say, I just need to have a treatment. And I do have some people that are very introverted and don't want to talk about it. They just want to have the treatment and that's it. Mm-hmm. I don't have to know. You don't have to tell me anything, because the Reiki will go regardless. So I'm going to treat the exact same way for someone that's coming for stress, for someone that's coming for a physical thing. And the third top thing, I get a lot of people come for business and financial things. But again, I still say that goes back to number one. It's still a stress related thing, you know. Everything comes back to stress, but I would treat any of those the exact same. So because it goes to where it needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, you say that it goes where it needs to go. So it's almost like something's getting to them, and whatever they needed is where it's going to go to heal or to help, right? So you don't need to know exactly where the root of the problem is because it will just go there, you know, naturally.
Oh, yeah. And see, sometimes in the treatment, we'll be working on one thing and something else will improve that they didn't even mention. So yeah, and another type thing is I would have to say situational and family dynamics would probably be the fourth thing. I have people that hire me on retainer for like a period of time when they're going through some things with their families and things like that. So that's another one that I get. But like I said, we could be working on the family dynamic or whatever, and then they find that, you know, they're having improvements in their elbow that's been hurting. And I everything is connected. Your
Right.
body is, you know, it's all connected, body, mind, spirit, all of it. So when you work on one thing, it's going to trickle across into other parts of your, you know, of yourself, of your body, of your, you know, your mental, your emotions. It just goes, it goes across the board.
So I wanted to ask you, so I know that you can go do, you know, treatments and get Reiki, but can you give Reiki to yourself, for example?
Oh, can you Reiki yourself?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do every day. Absolutely. So once I go through training, which, yeah, and you get, yet again, you can still do stuff for yourself if you haven't been through Reiki training. It's just a different energy system. But like the very first level 1 Reiki training for someone that goes through it is you treat yourself first. And I always feel like we have no business treating anyone else if we're not actively always working on ourselves as well. You know, that makes me be a better vessel and a better, you know, practitioner for the people that come to me. I should do that for myself. And I will be honest, I do these Reiki programs from time to time. Sometimes only once a year. Sometimes I take a big gap. But it's a program where people get to have a lot of intensive treatments of Reiki. I'm not teaching them Reiki. I'm just giving them Reiki. It's like a week-long intensive program. And what I always do before I offer the programs is I go through a series of purge or detox for myself so that I am more of a pure vessel for my clients. So sometimes that might be water fasting for a few days, or it might be a certain form of detoxification, or all manner of things that I've done on me first before my people come to me,
right?
You know, so that I am, you know, all of anything that could be in the way that I'm not be able to be the most pure vessel. I want to go ahead and take care of that, you know. So I've done sweat lodges. I've done, you know, the cupping with acupuncture, like deep tissue massage, all kinds of things on me first before I do like my intensives for my people that are going to they're getting all this energy during this program. So I take care of
your energy aligned and ready for them to.
Yeah. So I like to prepare my body to take on that amount of energy so that, you know, everyone reaps the benefits to the highest potential. But yes, I do treat myself, you know, and that's the first thing that you learn in Reiki for like people that go for their level 1 training. Level 1 training is the treatment of self before you treat other people.
So Rhonda, I wanted to round up the interview with some golden nugget. Like if you could just tell my audience one thing that they should remember for Reiki, and maybe we finish with an exercise that they can try and they can action today so they can get closer to Reiki and feel the benefits of it.
Okay, I'll give you what. Well, I think it's always good to start with clear energy first. So before you even get to that, I think something you can do for yourself to clear your energy. And this is something I've done, you know, my whole life. If you have access to being able to be barefoot on the ground, that is such a huge energy shift in your body because, you know, we're electric beings and we have energy, and barefoot on the ground pulls all of the extra static discharge that you may have in your body, the extra energies that you're carrying. You know, I grew up that we would do this like sometimes in the mornings. I do this after I've worked with a big group of people because that's a lot of energy from a lot of people. Like I will actually, right after I give a talk or a speech, go stand barefoot on grass. Damp grass, even better, because it just gives your body a chance to ground. in the most purest sense of the word without having to use anything, just on barefoot on the ground. And so that is, to me, like essential to start with the purest form of energy that you can, just to get rid of everything, to clear your space. And so that's one thing. And you know, if you have access to a Reiki practitioner that can help you, that's great. If you don't, if you could sit still with yourself and try it for just 5 minutes and just pay attention to your body, that can make a huge, profound shift in yourself. You know, if you could just sit with yourself. And some people cannot do 5 minutes. Some people cannot do that. But if you can condition yourself to give you that, and you know, ground yourself, sit with yourself, and let your body, you know, because we're in today's society, everything is go, 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 go. Got to do so many things. If you can just be still and let your body, you know, energetically become reattuned with itself.
It's almost like we need to create space for that to happen, right? Like we need to create that moment in time where your body can be like, okay, you give me 5 minutes of calm. I can do this, right?
5 minutes of calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then laugh. I believe personally, because I'm also a laughter yoga leader, I believe that laughter is like the highest form of meditation. There are people that tell me that they can't meditate, they can't focus on that. If you can laugh for 5 minutes, watch some funny videos and laugh. Laughter brings you fully into the present moment. It's hard to think about all the things that's going wrong in your life when you're laughing. And when you get that little break from all the mental chatter, and that's free, it's free. Your body was made to do this for you for free. If you can get that break, then, you know, that's like a little mini vacation for your body. And sometimes you come out of 5 minutes and you'll have the solution to a problem of something that you haven't even thought about before, because you stopped thinking about it and you were in the present moment, and your body got to do what it's designed to do, which is take care of you.
Yeah, and you mentioned, like, I feel like the concept of being in the now, you know, like the concept of being in the present moment, it's something that we forget a lot. Like we are always going to the next thing that's going to happen. And so maybe you're having, you know, dinner with your friend and you're thinking, oh, what's the next thing that I got to do? Need to go to a supermarket. And then you stop being with your friend having dinner, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're missing the opportunity of living that moment and truly living it, you know, with all of it, right? So yes. I feel that creating that space for yourself, these 5 minutes, you know, even if it's just stand bare feet or, you know, try to stay still, or just, you know, clear your mind in a way, so you get your body that space to help you, you know.
Yes, absolutely. We just don't take time and space for ourselves, you know. A lot of times we just put ourselves on the back burner because there's so many other things that we have to do, that, you know, whenever you do, you'd be amazed at the shifts that you can see in your life if you just took just 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Rhonda. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate your time, and thank you a lot for your knowledge on Reiki and how this can help us. So thanks a lot, and see you very soon.
Thank you so much.